Good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope all of you are fit and fine. Today we are going to revise figure of speech, and in our previous class also we have done our revision about the figure of speech, and today also we have to continue. In our previous class, we have done the revision of simile. Second was metaphor. Next was personification. Next was apostrophe. These all things we have done earlier, okay? But today we will just revise within a few minutes, okay? Apostrophe. Next one is oxymoron. Okay. Simile means comparison between two different words which have one thing in common between both the different things. Okay. Next was the metaphor. In this we don't use so, as, like, as. These comparing words we don't use. And in simile we use so, as, like, as. Means these words have been used in simile figure of speech. This is the basic difference between the simile and metaphor. Next one is the personification. In personification, whenever we analyze a non-living thing, abstract thing, ideas or thought have been personified as a living being, then that is known as the personification figure of speech. Next one is on apostrophe. In apostrophe, we always emphasize a thing. And what is that thing? We always address that thing directly. And when we address that thing directly, then we should know to whom we are addressing. We are addressing to those persons who are absent or to the personified object. One figure of speech we have missed, that is your hyperbole. This also we have done earlier. Hyperbole. This also we have done. Okay. Apostrophe, in this we address that thing directly. Okay. And whenever we address that thing directly, then we should know that that thing should be whether accent or idea or personified object. Next is your oxymoron. In oxymoron, two opposite ideas, two opposite words are used in the same sentence. Then that is known as oxymoron. Next is your hyperbole. In hyperbole, whenever we exaggerate a thing, whenever we exaggerate or whenever we overstatement, whenever we do overstatement, then that is known as hyperbole. But by exaggeration only, this hyperbole cannot be used. whenever we exaggerate or whenever we do overstatement in order to give a impression on other person, that is your hyperbole. Okay, this much thing we have completed. Now we have to continue with the new figure of speech. We have quickly revised all these things which we have done earlier. Now we have to move towards our new figure of speech. Our new figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Okay, onomatopoeia, onomatopoeia. Okay, our new figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Okay. By this word, we have got the knowledge that we are talking about some sound. In onomatopoeia, sound suggests meaning. Sound suggests meaning or sense. Okay. In onomatopoeia, sound suggests meaning or sense. Suppose whenever we hear the noise of the helicopter, suppose helicopter is moving towards you and you are not able to see. Suppose helicopter is coming towards you, but you are not able to see that helicopter, that from where this helicopter is coming. But you have got the noise, but you have got the sound. That this sound is telling me the sense. That this sound is telling me the meaning. This sound is telling me the meaning or telling me the sense that helicopter is coming. Okay, helicopter is coming. Then what happened? Then we got the knowledge that this sound is related to helicopter. We get the knowledge that this sound is of helicopter. By the noise of that helicopter, by the sound of that helicopter, you have got the knowledge that helicopter is coming. Means sound suggests you the meaning or sound suggests you the sense, because you are not able to see that helicopter, but from the noise, from the sound, you have got the sense, you have got the meaning that this sound is related to helicopter. Suppose in your home, when a young boy or young child cry, when a newly born child cry, then we got the sense that that child is hungry or that child is not feeling well. Means we get the sense, and we get the sense from where? We have got the sense from the sound, from the noise created by the child, that sound, crying sound, because this God had gifted this inherent quality to use them, because a newly born child can't speak, but God had given them a power that they can express their emotions, sentiments by crying. And by crying, we have got the knowledge that this child is not feeling well or hungry, because the crying sound which we get, we got the knowledge that this is the sound of a young child. This is the sound of a newly born child. Okay. So we will say that we are using the onomatopoeia figure of speech, because this sound, crying sound related to the young born child, or we can say that the sound of the helicopter suggests you the sense, meaning that helicopter is going. So, suppose fan is moving, but if a blind person is sitting in a room and fan is working, then by the noise that person gets the knowledge that this is a fan, because so fan is also making a sound, a noise, and that sound suggests them the meaning that this is the fan. Means whenever we correlate sound with our daily life, whenever we got the knowledge about that sound, then we will analyze ourselves, then we will find out that always sound suggests you the meaning, because each sound is related to something. Okay, and wherever we use this type of figure of speech, we call it onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia figure of speech. Now note down. Onomatopoeia suggests in onomatopoeia sound suggests meaning. Sound suggests meaning or sense. Okay. Sound suggests meaning or sense. In onomatopoeia, sound. Only learn, see, in every figure of speech I have given you words, that whether there is one word important, whether two words are important. Because in the, what do we say, in apostrophe I said two words are important, that is direct address. In the simile and metaphor I have given you two words, that is different objects. Whenever there is comparison between the different objects, two words. In the same way, in onomatopoeia, only one word is important. If you keep this word inside your mind, or if you understand the sense of the figure of speech, then you will notice that only one word is important to catch the meaning. That is the sound. In onomatopoeia, sound suggests meaning. In onomatopoeia, sound suggests meaning or sound gives you a sense. Okay. In onomatopoeia, sound suggests meaning. Sound suggests meaning or sense. Let's take an example. By example, we can understand the figure of speech very easily. Suppose I say that the murmuring sound, the murmuring horn, the murmuring murmuring horn of flies. The murmuring horn of flies on summer eve. The murmuring horn of flies on summer eves. Okay. Suppose this is a sentence of onomatopoeia. Suppose, then how you will find out that which figure of speech is used? First of all, see whether this sentence is consists of any sound related word. First of all, we have to see that the sentence, the question, leave the sentence. Suppose the question. First of all, see the question. Don't think that this is an example. Whenever a question comes, whenever a sentence is given, okay, and the question comes, tell me that whether onomatopoeia figure of speech is used or not. Okay, then what we will use? We will use our sound related words. First of all, we will see that whether this sentence have any sound related words or not. Sound related word in the sense that HI has hall, murmuring, or we can say that budge. Okay, means these are the moment we hear these words, we got the knowledge that these words are sound words. These words are sounds words. That's why in this sentence, first of all, we will see whether there is any word which is related to the sound. Let's start. The is not a sound related word. Then murmuring. Mark this word. That murmuring is looking like sound related word. Okay. Horn of flies. Now, by this horn of flies, we got the knowledge that there is in this sentence there is a horn of flies. Means flies are there. Next, and these flies, what they are doing on summer eve? They are murmuring on summer eves. Means to say that on summer evening there is a murmuring sound of horn of flies. Means this is the main word. Murmuring, because this is the sound related word, and by this word only we have got the sense murmuring, that we have got a sound that this sound was related to the bees or humming bee. So we have got the knowledge that in this sentence onomatopoeia figure of speech is used. Okay. Any more example you want? Okay, note one more example. The curfew tolls. The curfew tolls. All of you have noted down this because I am going to rub this. Okay. Onomatopoeia means sound word. One more example is that the curfew tolls. The curfew tolls. The curfew the curfew tolls the knell of parting days. Okay, this is a next example. The curfew tolls the knell of parting days. In what we have seen in this sentence, there is a word which tells about the curfew. The curfew. And in curfew, what happened? Right now we have seen that night curfew, day curfew, due to the corona. It is always said that there is a night curfew. Means no physical activities, no physical movement outside the house, no crowd on the road, totally silence. Means what the curfew tells? The curfew tolls the knell of parting days. This sentence, this example is related to our day-to-day life only. Nowadays, this type of words, this type of sentence is used maximum. Because right now, due to the pandemic, due to this corona, this type of sentence is used maximum times. The curfew tolls the knell of parting days. What the curfew tells? The curfew tolls the knell of parting days. The knell of parting days. Let's start with our new figure of speech. Onomatopoeia means the sound related words, the sound which suggests you the meaning, or sound which suggests you the sense. That is your onomatopoeia. Learn only one word, sound. From that only you got all the knowledge. Next one is your sarcasm. Okay, sarcasm. This word has been taken from the word sarcastic, satire. Okay, this word has been taken from the word satire. In this, we always do direct attack, satire. And we have seen that during the 17th and 18th century, this word was used by John Donne while writing his plays. He had used that word satire there. Actually, in order to write the literary criticism, he had used this word, satire. And from the 17th and the 18th century, from there, this word is used. And now this satire had been changed into sarcasm, figure of speech. And in the sarcasm, there is a direct attack. In sarcasm, there is a direct attack. Okay. There is a direct attack. In sarcasm, there is a direct attack. Means whatever you have to say directly. That is the sense of the word sarcasm mean. Like, God made him. One example is there. pass for man. God made him and therefore let him pass for man. In this, what we have seen, there is a direct attack on what? There is a direct attack on man. God made him and therefore let him pass for man. Means you are directly concerned with the man.